Well, I guess since the last time we got a chance to see you, you've turned 21, getting up there. How'd you celebrate the birthday? What'd you do?
So we had a big gathering, a lot of family and friends for the 21st, and it was still quite low key. We had it at a football club in their change rooms. Oh, not change rooms, sorry, like the clubhouse. And they were a bit worried. They're saying, "Oh, we're not sure." They're umming and ahhing a bit, saying, having a UFC fighter's birthday. And then afterwards, they said we're probably the most well-behaved bunch of people they've had ever. So.
Let's say normally, 21's a big partying type celebration, at least for us Americans. I know you're a highly dedicated athlete, so did you let it out and party a little bit, or did you say no? I've still got to keep it in control?
Yeah, we partied a little bit. I don't drink just normally anyway, so I didn't drink. But yeah, I guess like the whole 21 thing is a bit of an American thing. There's nothing special for us. We get to drive and drink when we're 18, so I guess that's a big one for us. But it just comes from the American culture, having a big 21st. Yeah.
Nice. Your last fight out, of course, didn't go your way. Your first loss of your career. Just talk about the experience. I mean, now that you've had some time to reflect on it, people say there's lessons in losses, but nobody likes to lose. Just talk about the whole thing and the way you see it in retrospect.
Yeah, so the loss in Adelaide, obviously it sucked. You never want to lose, but at the time I just thought, I learned nothing from this. It's just a loss. But then you have time to reflect on it. I said the same thing in Canada in the Ultimate Fighter. But you have time to reflect, and it's just, I always say, like everyone knows me for being humble, and in that fight I wasn't really, because I had like a Fox Sports documentary filming me in the lead up, and first fight in the main card in the UFC. That's a pretty big deal, and a lot of attention, a lot of media attention, and I'm not going to lie, I went to my head and I got a bit cocky, and when you get cocky, you let your guard down, and that's what happened. I got caught. So we learned from that, and this time just trying to keep the media to a minimum, and just off Facebook, off social media this week, not getting, last time I was on social media, photos and this and talking to people, and this time it's just me and my opponent. There's nothing before, there's nothing after. It's just this fight, and then whatever happens after, I'll lap it up then. But until then, it's just me and my opponent. So
that's incredible honesty, because I wondered the exact same thing. I mean, you were being promised as the next big thing, and I wonder about the type of pressure, I guess, and just what it take to you. So it wasn't so much pressure; it's more that just you kind of started believing in yourself a little bit.
Yeah. There's I never feel pressure. I think what's pressure? Someone expects you to win. It's like I expect myself to win anyway. So there's no added pressure for me. And you got nothing to prove to anyone. It was just playing into the crowd, and a lot of people are saying, the crowd's going to be 5 times as big this time, but I feel in the right. Like when I used to fight locally, and even my first couple of fights in the UFC, it was just, I always said there's like a big curtain falls around the octagon. I can't see out of it. It's just black. Can't see the crowd. But last time, everyone was talking about they're going to get the chant going again. In Sydney, that was spare of the moment. It was just, I wasn't thinking about it. I heard the chant, clapped along with it. Whereas in Adelaide, I was waiting for it because people said they're going to start the chant again. So I'm waiting, and then when it came, I was clapping along with it and trying to worrying about the crowd rather than my opponent.
So you're from Melbourne. Do you think you're going to be able to keep that black curtain? So you think that the black curtain's still going to be there, fighting in your birthplace?
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, I get this feeling during fight week, whether it was my local fights or my first couple in the UFC, and my dad and my family will tell you, they always ask me, what's wrong with you, you all right? And I'll just sit there blank, and someone will be talking to me, and it's not that I'm thinking about the fight constantly, it's just that I go really quiet, and I've started doing that the last 2 weeks actually. So, and I know my mind frame is where it used to be, and like I said, not playing into any media hype or any of the attention that I'm getting. And I believe, I feel like I used to. I didn't get that quietness, I didn't get the nervousness in Adelaide, because I was too cocky and I thought I had it won. Whereas this fight, I think it's a good fight for me in the sense that this guy's tough, and I know that I can't do this fight. If I do that same thing this fight, he's going to catch me. So I know I have to stay switched on and focused.
Are you getting any text messages from people that you grew up with? Yeah,
getting a fair few on Facebook. So I've decided I'm going to switch my personal page and just put everyone on an athlete page, and then make like a little sneaky one on the side. I just miss you miss messages from you actually good friends, because there's just so many that come up, and people, I don't know what they think. It's like, oh hey man, it's like, this would be like yesterday or the day before, hey, can you still get us tickets for the fight? And I'm just like, are you serious, man? I'm going to fight in like a couple of days, just leave me alone. Or they're like, oh hey, you reckon we could come and watch you train, or you want to catch up? You remember me from primary school? And I'm like, maybe after the fight, not before.
after the loss, of course, this summer you got injured as well. I imagine that was frustrating because I'm sure you just wanted to get right back in there. What was that feeling like, and where you at? Are you 100%? Is that something that's in the past?
Yeah, so the injury, yeah, that was like another just blow after blow, you know, the loss and then getting injured and fighting in, you know, family roots are in Scotland, so it would have been awesome to fight there, and I was really pumped up to get back in. I think I was in Chicago at the time training with Izzy Martinez, and I was talking to my parents, and then I got an email, just I have a look, and there was my management, and they said, oh, we got your fight in Glasgow, and then snapped the ligaments in my ankle, so that was a good about 6 or 7 weeks rehab, and then getting back into training. Missing out on the fight was hard, but missing out on the 6 weeks of training was even harder. I was pretty much just sitting on my hands, just couldn't do anything. And it took me me and Dad we were sitting there, I said, I can just strap it up, and I can fight, anaesthetic or whatever I have to do to fight. It took us like a whole day just sitting there, and we got scans done, and they just said, look, if you try and like even train on it, and they said it'll be 12 months out if you redo it. So, and just couldn't really walk on it. So it was a hard decision, but yeah, we got over that hurdle. I think it made us stronger again, and now we're here.
Sure, you're excited at this point. Let's talk about the matchup itself. Stylistically, Akbar, tough guy. As you said, you know, it's going to be a difficult fight. Just break him down stylistically. What do you see in him? Is there anything that stands out about him, or is it really just that durability that he has?
Yeah, so Akbar, like I said, he's really tough. So I know he's from Mexico. He's really experienced, had a lot of fighting. I think he's got wins back in like 2002, I think. So really experienced. I think he's one of those guys, he's hit that point where, you know, he's really good, but he's not getting any better from his last like 5 fights. But in saying that, you know, I think he's been really unlucky. I don't think his record in the UFC reflects how good he is, and a lot of people underestimate him. So, but for me, he's got good stand up. There's no real pattern. He's really awkward stand up. I think his wrestling's lacking a little bit. He's still got throws, you know, of course, fighting MMA. And he's got solid jiu-jitsu, but it's jiu-jitsu. It's not sort of MMA-based jiu-jitsu. So I think he's got good stand-up, but he doesn't mix his wrestling well with it. And then he's got his jiu-jitsu, which he doesn't mix well with the strikes on the floor. So we know what we have to do. We've got a game plan set in place, and I'm going to go out, follow it to a T, and hopefully we'll get the win.
Sounds like you're trying to put aside anything, you know, the fact that it is in Melbourne, the fact that this is a stadium show. I mean, it sounds like you're really just trying to focus on. But, I mean, is any of that stuff special? I mean, fighting in your hometown, fighting in a massive stadium show, are you able to enjoy all of it? Are you excited about it? Or does this really just boil down to the fact that you got to get a win? Yeah,
well, like every fight, you just got to get that win. And normally I don't care where the fight is, who I'm fighting. They're like, I'll fight this guy, fight him here. Okay, we fly there, we fight him. And in Adelaide, I was just trying to play into it too much. So this one, it's still, in saying this, it's still going to be awesome to fight in Melbourne in front of a home crowd, and we've got Rouse in the card and 2 title fights. But that stuff's at the back of my mind. Like I've looked at the card. I probably couldn't tell you everyone who's on the card. I know, yeah, Aussie boys. We've got Rousey. That's about it. Like, you know, I haven't given it a second thought. I'll lap it up after, like I said. Enjoy, you know, hopefully get the victory, and we'll enjoy it and celebrate and look back on it. But that's not what it's about for me. It's about getting in there and enjoying the fight and getting the win. So that's what it's all about this time.
What's the hope for the future? I mean, you've been tagged as kind of this Australian national hero to a degree, and I'm sure it would be great to be a star here and to fight here. Is that excite you, or is it like, I want to go to Vegas, I want to go to Brazil, I want to go to other places? What is the goal for you?
Yeah, the goal for me was always to just grow the sport in Australia here. It's such a good sport, just from like for little kids to get into. I know there's a bit of, you know, it's not everyone looks at it the same way, but we work with like Fighting for Autism, which is like a charity, and we run like classes on the weekends for autistic kids, and just the benefits they get from it. So just growing the sport, helping all the local gyms, local fighters get exposure. We made a big step getting the cage here, and now we've got the US, like one of the history-making events, one of the biggest events ever here. So, and yeah, just to be like one of the pioneers, one of the originals, I guess, who sort of helped set in stone the MMA in Australia. And about the whole national hero thing, I don't know about that, but just like I said, just helping the sport grow, and you know, along the way, hopefully I do well with my career. Yeah, I think you shouldn't really be in the UFC if you're not trying to be a champion. So of course, to be a champion would be awesome. And for me, it's just enjoying it. I get to travel around the world and do what I love, and I've got my own gym and all my friends are at the gym. So for me, it's just living the dream, and it's a good lifestyle.
You touched on it a little bit, the controversy. I read a column that I was kind of shocked to read. It felt like it was something out of the early 1990s or something, where people are saying kids shouldn't be able to go. Obviously this is your local media here. What is it you think they don't understand? Why is it they think this is such a rough sport?
I think a lot of people bring attention to the octagon. They call it a cage, and there's no escape from it. They talk about things like the injuries. I've never had a serious injury. I had worse injuries playing Aussie rules football, and you look at sport, not to have a dig at any sport or anything, but there's some sports out there, players get a concussion and then they're playing the next weekend, where we get, I think it's like a 2-month ban from fighting and training. They don't want us to be training if we've got a concussion, so they really look after us. All the medicals before and after the event, they're all really extensive, and make sure that we're all healthy. If we're not healthy to fight, we don't fight. Plain and simple. In terms of like kids, I think parents see fighting, I think at least parents, whether they see MMA or boxing or kickboxing, even just straight jiu-jitsu, wrestling, I think they're a bit put off by the whole, they think it's violent. Whereas when you've got kids, they're not going to be fighting, it's going to be training, and if they do want to pursue a career, good on them, but it just teaches them discipline. They've got to respect their instructor, and that translates to school, respecting the teacher, and they've got their grading belts, so it gives them something to achieve, and it translates across to their schooling and everything else in life. And you do see it when kids get involved, and if parents just take their kids along to the classes, they'll see it themselves as well.